तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ अशेवहुः वहिष्ठेमस्ति उष्टास्ति उष्टाह्वाय यदशाय वहिष्ठायशे श्मा इस्राएल Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham sharanam gacchami dhammam sharanam gacchami sangham sharanam gacchami. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. La ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah. La ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah. La ilaha illallah, Allah, Allah. Om Saishwaraya vidmahe Satyadevaya dhimahi Tannah sarvah prachodayat. Saishwaraya vidmahe Satyadevaya dhimahi Tannah sarvah prachodayat. Om Saishwaraya vidmahe Satyadevaya dhimahi Tannah sarvah prachodayat. Vigna vinashaka
Baba, Baba Sai Baba. Baba Sai Baba, Baba Sai Baba. Ta voix réchauffe notre cœur. Ta voix réchauffe notre cœur. Ton amour nous fait danser dans la joie. Ton amour nous fait danser dans la joie. Chante, oh Sai Baba, chante. Chante, oh Sai Baba, chante. Danse, 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 danse dans nos cœurs. Danse, 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 danse dans nos cœurs. Chante, oh Sai Baba, chante. Chante, oh Sai Baba, chante. Baba Sai Baba, Baba Sai Baba. Ta voix réchauffe notre cœur. Ton amour nous fait danser dans la joie. Chante, Sai Baba, chante. शंकर देवा शंभो शंकर देवा भोले बाबा महादेवा साई बाबा महादेवा शंभो शंकर देवा पाहि प्रभो शरणं देवा पाहि प्रभो शरणं देवा भोले बाबा महादेवा sunlight, like the moon bright. Always, always I am with you. Like the ocean, like the river, always I am flowing towards you. Like the sky above, so is divine love, always, always surrounding you. Like the earth so fair, like the birds of the air, always I am caring for you. Like the earth so fair, like the birds of the air, always I am caring for you. Like the sunlight, like the moon, always, always I am with you. Like the ocean, like the river, always I am flowing towards you. Like the sky above, so is divine love, always, always surrounding you. Like the earth so fair, like the birds of the air, always I am caring for you. Like the earth so fair, like the birds of the air, always I am caring for you. The sunlight, like the moon bright, always, always I am with you. Like the ocean, like the river, always I am flowing towards you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
I want you to be leaders to protect the world. Leaders like lions, self-reliant, courageous, majestic, and just. Lion is the king of animals, and I want you to be king among men.
Sairam, and welcome back. To those of you just joining us today, welcome. We're so happy to have you. We've got such a good crowd energized this morning. It's day 2 of ZYAF. We have lots of exciting activities and workshops planned for everyone. A reminder that the full agenda is in the welcome guide if you haven't already seen it. The bhajans were so energizing. I hope everyone's really excited and refreshed for day 2.
How is everybody doing this morning? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. How is everybody doing this morning? There it is.
Awesome. A couple announcements before we get started. First, let's give all the volunteers a huge round of applause. This event wouldn't be possible without all the work that all of you are doing, and we just want to really say thank you for everything that you're doing. Another announcement, cars should not be parked on the grass. If anyone has a car parked on the grass, please move it as soon as you possibly can. All cars should be parked in the parking lots. If you haven't already registered, please contact the registration team and get that squared away. And we have gifts for you all. If you haven't collected your pen souvenirs, please do that as well. All right.
All right, so before we delve fully in, are you all pretty comfortable? Yes? Look to your right, look to your left, see familiar faces, yes? Okay, now stand up. We're gonna play head and shoulders, knees and toes. No, I'm just kidding, we're not. Can you please take 3 steps to your left, 3 steps to your right, switch places with people, sit next to someone you don't know. And then be seated in 5, 4. I haven't seen very many people switch places.
Move around. You should be sitting next to somebody you don't know.
All right. It looks like we've moved around. Everyone go ahead and settle down. Awesome. The ladies have got it. I don't know. Dr. Govind yesterday said something about the guys not being as quick as the ladies. I'm just kidding. All right.
All right, awesome. Get comfortable. We're about to play some trivia. So I have some quick trivia from you about yesterday's talk. Hopefully you were all Hopefully you were all paying very close attention.
Well done. So speaking of those badges that we brought with us, I totally have one. It's in my purse. Clap if you're using your badge from a party event. Okay. Clap if you're using your badge from a regional event. Okay. And how about from... That one didn't win the majority. The regional event did, however. Most of us did bring our badges from the regional events, so that's pretty cool. Thank you for making this a zero-waste event. We would like to welcome back Brother Satishan. Brother Satishan Shiva currently serves as the Young Adults Coordinator for Zone 1 of the SSIO, the Satyasai International Committee, and the Satyasai International Leadership Program for the Young Adults Committee. He is also a graduate of the inaugural class of the Satyasai International Leadership Program for Young Adults in 2015. Satishan has a BSc in Computer Science from the University of Technology in Sydney and he is a management professional specializing in delivering digital and technology transformation initiatives. Please put your hands together for Brother Satishan.
My loving and heartfelt salutations at the lotus feet of our dearest and beloved Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba. Dear Swami, may you continue to shower your blessings and grace on all of us this weekend. Respected elders, esteemed guests, fellow young adults, soon to be young adults, dear brothers and sisters, a loving Sai Ram to you this morning. Sai Ram. I'm not sure if everyone had their coffee. Loving Sai Ram. Sai Ram. A little better. Loving Sai Ram. Sai Ram. Amazing. I think I woke you all up now, for those who didn't have coffee yet. Another welcome again. I had a brief welcome last night. That was light introduction to the program. I know many of you weren't here. Approximately 90 of you were still in transit. So this is now our official welcome and opening ceremony that we are really excited to launch and open. Dear brothers and sisters, I want to welcome the over 300 young adults that have come from not only all parts of our zone, but even from outside of our zone. So welcome. We are very, very, very happy to see each and every one of you here. Know that whatever the thought, the coincidence, the circumstance that led to you coming to this festival, it was you who was personally handpicked by our dearest Swami to be here. Brothers and sisters, have no doubt about that. Swami has said that not even an insect can enter Prashanti Nilayam without his will. And when we come together at these events, we make this a Prashanti Nilayam here in Zone 1. I'd like to also acknowledge our past zonal and national young adult leaders that have joined us here today. Our young adult program would not be where it is today if it was not for their leadership that they provided during their terms. So I would like to acknowledge Sister Aparna Murali, our former Zone Young Adult Coordinator and National YA Coordinator for USA. Sister Lakshmi Jagannathan, also our former Zonal Young Adult Coordinator and National Young Adult Coordinator for USA. Sister Sangeeta Lakey, our first National Young Adult Coordinator for USA. We also are fortunate to have a couple of other former National Young Adult Coordinators here as well. They're currently serving terms as advisors, so next time we'll have to also acknowledge them for coming. But I very much appreciate the joining of our former leaders as well as those who are still continuing. Our program would not be where it is today if it was not for your leadership and all of your love and the inspiration that you gave us. So we are eternally grateful for that. I'd like to also acknowledge our senior SSIO officers that are here today, including our zone chair, Dr. Phil Gosselin, member of the Prashanti Council, Dr. Bill Harvey, And of course, I'd like to acknowledge our guest speaker as well, Dr. Suresh Govind. We as young adults are forever grateful for all of the guidance and wisdom that you share with us each and every time that we have the opportunity to interact with you. And we pray that we continue to have several more of those opportunities if you continue to have the time to spare for us. So we are forever grateful. Wow, so Dare to be Divine, Zone Young Adult Festival 2019. In the welcome email, we had said it's been over a year in the making, but in fact, when we looked back, it's actually been around 2 years in the making to get here. And it's truly been a program by the young adults, for the young adults, and for the young adults. Let me share an interesting statistic. So the other day when I was asking the teams for information, such as how many members are now in your team, it was amazing to see the enormity of this event. The number of young adults and adult volunteers that have come together to put this on, driven by their love of Swami. This is why we're all doing it, for our connection to Swami. He is our guide and light. Does anyone have any idea how many young adults took part in the organization of this program? Put your hand up if you think more than 20. Okay. Put your hand up if you think more than 50. 100? A few more? 120? Okay. So, yep, we have over 120 young adults took part in organizing this program. In more than 9 teams. We had more than 9 teams. And I say more than 9 because even in those teams, there were a number of sub-teams that, I didn't have count for. So what an amazing event. What a display of the enormity of the effort that it took to bring this. And an effort of love. It's a labor of love that we all went on. So some interesting statistics. We're in Zone 1. How many countries are in Zone 1? Too many. 12. Good. Can anyone name them? Canada. The Canadians say Canada. Great. Okay. Well represented by your national coordinator. Anyone else? USA. Americans say USA. Great. Okay. Trinidad, Barbados, Aruba, St. Kitts, Guyana, Jamaica, Suriname. Trinidad, we already had that. Curacao, we had Suriname. St. Kitts, St. Lucia, St. Martin. Wow, give yourself a round of applause. Great. I also think that is a great achievement because we had a number of us didn't know what Zone 1 was or what countries were in there, and now you can all name it. So give yourself a round of applause. That's amazing. That's great. We've made some great progress. So at last count, we estimate that we have over 3,000 to 3,500 young adults in Zone 1. That's amazing. 3,000 to 3,500 devotees, soldiers of Swami, messengers of Swami. Some interesting statistics about this festival. We have gender parity, 50-50%. Well, almost 50-50. We have one more brother. So, 50-50. We have young adults from all over the zone, from the Caribbean, Canada, USA, and we have 2 young adults visiting from outside the zone. So let's give them a round of applause for making the effort for coming out as well. We have young adults across every one of the age groups in the YA program. And particularly, we have a large number in the younger years. So that was very, very inspiring to see that so many of the young adults are coming into the program and are really, really connecting to Swami's message and the program itself. Some other interesting statistics. We already saw some of the name badges. We had quite a few different categories. Regional event badges were brought in, national event badges, SSILP, other events. I brought one from the Garden of Love. We have a couple of those leads here, so I hope that they're represent. Did you guys like that? Bring your badge. Was that kind of cool? Yeah. It was actually really amazing to see that all these different events that you had been to, and we're all bringing them back, and a great way to save the environment, do our little part to save the environment. I'm not going to take up too much time. I'm going to get the timekeeping signal very soon, so I'm going to go very quickly. But this festival's also been part of a bigger story for our zonal young adult program. When I was doing the initial introduction in Canada and a couple of places, I was drawing a parallel to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is what I meant by this. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe, does everyone know what the Marvel Cinematic, okay, cool. Anyone doesn't? Cool, okay, some of our seniors in the back. So, so Marvel Cinematic Universe is a bunch of superhero comic movies, superhero logo, so I thought it'd be appropriate to call it back. And it's broken up into 3 phases. Phase 1 is a whole bunch of movies, and it culminates in them all coming together as one team, the Avengers, ZYAF. And then we have phase 2, a whole bunch of movies, they come together as a team. And phase 3, a whole bunch of movies, and they come together as a team. And that's the format. So I talked about our zonal young adult program as sort of being like that. So phase 1 was everything that was from the inception of national YA programs going up until ZYC 2013. That's when all these ZYAF from all over the zone came together. And then we had phase 2, which was national, we had national festivals and conferences leading up to World Young Adult Conference 2016. And so this is phase 3. This is the Infinity War. No, this is the phase 3. So this is everything leading up until ZYAF 2019. So you're all ZYAF in phase 3. And there's obviously going to be more. We're not going to talk about what's beyond this yet. There's a little teaser for tomorrow. But this is how we sort of see it. The program's been growing in leaps and bounds. We've had several international initiatives that have been totally embraced by young adults in our zone, and several other projects. It's just amazing to see the growth of this program and to see how we're going to grow from here as well. Just a couple of quick words before I wrap up. I remember when I was in the Manhattan young adult group. I'm still in the Manhattan young adult group, but we'd be sitting in one of our devotees' homes who offered his home graciously to have our YA meetings every month. And we'd have these amazing satsangs and study Swami's teachings and plan all these projects. But it was interesting. I remember just staying there at times, just becoming aware of what was going on. In the outside of those walls was the craziness, the hustle and bustle of New York City. Not the calmest city in the world. It's pretty much a rush outside. But yet, in the hustle and bustle of everything that's going on in those outside walls, were these group of devotees who came together. Out of the 8 million people who lived in New York, was a handful who knew of Swami, a handful of young adults. And that's the same here. Out of all the people in the zone, the millions and the billions in the world, each and every one of you chose to be here. With the craziness outside, you sought the stillness and the silence of Swami and your connection to him here. That is beautiful, brothers and sisters. You are daring to be divine. And so Matthew 20:10 in the Bible has a very famous quote. Many are called, but few are chosen. And thinking about those moments in the Manhattan Young Adult Group, and thinking about us here now, we are truly fortunate to not only have been called, but accepted that call from a young age. We accepted the call to dare to be divine, and we continue to accept that call. And so what is it that we've been called for? Though each of our paths is different, that is the way of spirituality. Swami has given us some hints from past young adult conference discourses that Swami gave to the young adults there at the time. Quote number 1 I want to share. Young people should consider the true purpose of life. They should get rid of all the impurities in their hearts. With pure hearts, they should embark on service at all times and everywhere. Hands in society, head in the forest. From today, develop an unwavering mind and a steady vision. That is the way to divinize the world. Another quote from Swami from World Young Adult Conferences. Modern youth are making every effort to know all that is happening in the world, but are not making any effort to understand the fundamental truth of human life. No benefit accrues from acquiring such information which does not lead you to the goal of life. There are thousands of intellectuals, scholars, and eminent educationists in the world today, but all the worldly knowledge and skills will be a mere waste if one does not know oneself. The primary duty of man is to understand who he really is. And the third quote I want to share, the third and final from Swami. Youth alone can transform youth. Youth alone can transform youth. Those are some hints from Swami for the answer to, if many are called but few are chosen, what is it we've been called and chosen to do? So dear brothers and sisters, let us not delay. Let us answer this call, accept this call, embrace this call, and continue in our spiritual journey. Continue to answer Swami's call. Continue to dare to be divine. In a quote yesterday, I shared how Swami mentioned that time is the one thing that we cannot get back. And as young adults, we are truly grateful and truly, truly blessed to have this opportunity to start our journeys young. Swami gives one example. He says, starting your spiritual journey young is like getting an airport ticket. Who flew here? Okay, so how many of you booked last minute? By last minute, okay, how many of you booked within the week before you got here? Cool. How many of you booked like 3 months before? How many of you booked a year, like 6 months before? Cool. So 6 months, how stressed were you guys on unwanted? Were you stressed? No, okay. 3 months, stressed? 1 week is stressed? Raise your hands and maybe a little bit stressed. Yeah, I see a couple. So Swami gives an example of that. He says, starting your spiritual journey young is like that. I'm going to paraphrase because some of these things weren't around when Swami said it. It's like, starting a spiritual journey young is like this. You know you have to go to Chicago for ZYAF 2019 when we sent out the email months ago. You log on to Priceline.com. Check out your flights. You log on to Expedia. You log on to Orbitz. All the different sites, and you compare them. You take your time to work out your best flight time, your best travel schedule. You put in your leave requests for those of you who are working, and you book. You get a reasonable price, one that you might feel is fair, and you get to, you pack your bags early. You come to the airport and you come here. Scenario number 2: you wait till 4 days before. You have no idea what flights are going on. You're looking at them and you're stressed because it's expensive. You're trying to find the best deal. You're going like Cheapo Air. You're going to Expedia. What's going on? And you finally find one, but you're not really happy because it wasn't the best deal. And then you're scrambling because you're like, oh, have I got everything I need? These guys want 5 Bs from me. I don't have bedding. I don't know. Badge? What's it? What? And then you're scrambling and you're coming. Swami says spirituality is like that. Starting young is like the first scenario. It's like you're actually taking your time to get your tickets. You walk up to the airport, you packed your bags early and you get your flight. Second one, and your flight's guaranteed. Second scenario is like you're getting to the airport, you don't really have a ticket, you're trying to work out, and you're at the mercy of the elements and the variables. So which one would you rather be, scenario 1 or 2? Who would rather be scenario 2? Who would rather be scenario 1? Who'd rather be no scenario? You're like, none of these work for me. I don't want to fly. Okay. So, dear brothers and sisters, let us embrace this. We are lucky to have this opportunity. We are lucky to be able to go on a price line 6 months early, to pack your bags days ahead, and to get to the airport. Let us embrace this call as young adults. Before I wrap up, I'm not sure if we can put up the slide on social media. Just a reminder, we have a number of social media channels. For our zone at the top, you can see our social media channels for Zone 1. At Zone 1 ZYAF Young Adults, we put a number of updates there, including this festival. We're putting up live story updates, live...
All
Side.
right.
Salam.
We will be kicking off the day with an exciting parade of nations. So you just heard we have 12 countries represented in Zone 1, and we have representatives from each of the countries here. So we'll be having an Olympic-style parade of nations to welcome everybody here. All right, we'll get kicked off. So.
Could we have all of the delegates? Are you all in place, ready to go? Cue music.
Could we have all the representatives stand up, please?
All right, let's begin with Aruba. Aruba has one of the most ethnically diverse populations in the world.
Next up, we have Barbados. The YAs in Barbados spend time with underprivileged families and plan to continue this until Swami's birthday. They are also actively involved with Go Green initiatives and are helping expand the SSEHB program.
Next, we have Ontario, Region 1, Western Ontario and Western GTA. They have a career fair, summer camp, and fun day, and Umar was named as president.
All right, Canada Region 2, Markham, Scarborough, Pickering, Central Toronto. Region 2 recently hosted a career fair and meet and greet for their young adults.
Next, we have Ontario Region 3, Eastern Ontario and Quebec. Region 3 visits places of worship from different religions to explore the universal teachings of love.
Next, we have Canada Region 4. The YAs from Region 4 have taken up Go Green and Zero Waste projects at a center level.
Next, we have Canada Region 5. Region 5 is also involved in the same Go Green initiatives and Zero Waste projects.
Region 6, British Columbia, recently hosted a workshop aimed at addressing issues by young adults in the workplace, with family, and in life.
Next, we have Curacao. Here's a question for you. Where was the last Zonal Youth Conference held? And when?
Philly 2013. Guyana, next up. The YAs in Guyana sponsor 50 to 60 fibroid surgeries twice a year. In addition, they have weekly meal distribution service activity, and tree planting has been incorporated in their Go Green efforts.
Next, we have Jamaica. And another piece of trivia. What was the theme for the 2019 Serve the Planet initiative? Protect the planet, that's right.
All right, next up we have St. Lucia. Another piece of trivia for you, and you should know this one well. Who is the current Zonal YA coordinator? Citation, yes.
Next, we have St. Kitts. St. Kitts was known throughout the world as a sugarcane island and is still commonly known today as Sugar City.
Next up, we have St. Martin. St. Martin is in fact the smallest island in the world. It may be a country that's small in size, but the young adults in St. Martin are as active and vibrant as ever.
Next, we have Suriname. Suriname has food service on a monthly basis, active engagement in the Serve the Planet initiative, and they planted 500 trees along the coast to prevent erosion. They've also created awareness about reusing plastic bottles on the island.
All right, next up, Trinidad and Tobago. The YAs here engage with centers to help with EHV on anti-bullying. They also have regular YA meetings, organize hikes to appreciate nature together, and visit hospitals to share words of encouragement with the residents.
Next, we have USA Region 1, Northeast. Based on a survey last year, the USA has over 1,000 young adults active across the USA. They've had a gender equality YA retreat, applying spiritual solutions to modern society problems, a Group 4 SSC retreat that was planned and executed by YAs for Group 4 students, a mental health YA retreat, SSC conversations and center study circles bringing awareness to issues with mental health in various age groups and mechanisms to handle them.
Next, we have Region 2, Mid-Atlantic region. Region 2 hosts road shows to all their centers to learn the uniqueness of each center. They also initiated the Psy Cares program, helping fellow Psy brothers and sisters.
Next, we have Region 3, the Southeast region. Region 3 has SSC camps and sports days with refugees, teaching basic computer skills to refugees to help them get a job. They also create personalized greeting cards in English and Spanish to express our love and feelings of hope and inspiration to residents of a nursing home.
Next, we have Region 4, the Mid-Central region. The YAs in Region 4 were inspired by folks outside the Psy family to participate in service activities such as Sharing the Warmth, Beat the Heat, EduPack, and Go Green. They also host YA Collective tele-prayers on the 23rd of every month to pray for the welfare of the world.
Next, we have Region 5. That's where we currently are. Region 5 hosts monthly webinars on YA-oriented spiritual topics. Individually, YAs in Region 5 continue to serve the broader community with medical services in impoverished areas like Haiti, Kenya, and Uganda. They also run weekly free clinics in local communities, mentoring and tutoring kids in the local community.
Next up, we have Region 6, the Pacific North region. Region 6 publishes a monthly YA newsletter. They also have monthly meetings with diverse workshop topics, service projects including clothing drives and filling pillows for local refugee communities.
Next, we have Region 7. YAs in Region 7 co-hosted the annual 9/11 musical offering with other multi-faith groups from the Bay Area. They also created Passion Pods, Ocean of Devotion Pod, and bi-weekly harmonium classes. There is also a Zero Waste Pod discussing key issues on how to make lifestyle changes in alignment with zero waste. And they host the West Coast YA Retreat with Region 6, Region 7, and Region 8.
And next up, we have Region 8, the Pacific South region. The YAs in Region 8 participate in an Ability First Beach project where they get together with disabled folks. They also host regional medical camps offering free health screenings.
Next, we have Region 9. Region 9 is part of Project Cure, packing medical supplies to ship across the world. They are also part of Love for Animals, feeding animals at the Sedona Vedic Center, and the Liquid Love Blood Donation Project.
And finally, we have Region 10, the South Central region. The YAs in Region 10 started a juvenile detention center service. They're involved in community engagement by means of participating in lake, river, and hike cleanups, and they continue to participate in Hurricane Harvey relief. All right. Thank you to all our delegates and representatives who participated in the Parade of Nations and everybody for being here today. Just like there have been countless hours put into this festival, young adults from across the zone put countless hours into our festival theme song. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you the theme song for our Zonal Young Adults Festival 2019.
Our most humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan, Sri Satya Sai Baba. Om Shri Sai Ram, brothers and sisters. My name, go for it. Om Shri Sai Ram. Yeah, I like it. My name is Sai Pranay, and I'm from Cleveland, Ohio.
Sairam, my name is Santosh Yagnaraman. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
And we'll be your MCs for a little bit. So I'm from Ohio. We have a good time with sports sometimes and a less good time with sports. But one thing we always have going for us is college football. Am I right? Am I right? All right, let's try something. So let's do a call and response. I'm gonna say like a catchphrase and you guys finish it. Got it? OH.
I-O.
OH.
I-O. Dude.
Dare to be. Dare to be.
Divine.
That's right, guys. All we're doing at this festival is daring to be divine in every moment we're here.
So on that really high note, I'm sure you digested all your breakfast by now. So Dare to be Divine being our theme here, so we have an exciting lineup of activities kind of trying to elevate us to keep up with this message. So on that note, we would like to invite our first guest of honor. So Dr. Phil Gosselin is currently the chairperson of Zone 1 of Sri Sathya Sai International Organization. So Zone 1 comprises the English and Dutch-speaking countries of the Western Hemisphere. He's also the co-chair of the SSIO Archive Committee. He has been a past USA Sai Organization Central Coordinator and a past USA Central Council President. He's one of the original USA Central Council members announced at the 1975 World Conference in Swami's presence. He had the great fortune to live in Prasanthi Nilayam for a year, and in 1971-72, and again for a year in 1974-75. Dr. Gosselin was also a founding member of several Sai centers in Northeast USA, including the Manhattan Sai Center. Dr. Gosselin resides in Amherst, Massachusetts, in the United States, where he's a clinical psychologist in private practice. He has previously been a professor of psychology at Union Institute and has been the director of Behavioral Medicine Department at the Franklin Medical Center in Greenfield, Massachusetts. He also previously worked in Wall Street for 12 years in the 70s and 80s. An account of his professional life on Wall Street is described in the book, The Dharmic Challenge. So without further ado, it's our great honor and blessing to invite Dr. Phil Gosselin to share his thoughts with us. Sairam.
Om Sai Ram. I'm very happy to be here, very happy to have Swami directly behind me, and very happy to be in front of the devotees and feeling the energy, the love, the devotion, the kinship. It's very wonderful to be right there, and I'm praying that Swami will allow me to say a few words that will be useful to you. And being here is a little bit like being in the mandir in Puttaparthi. It's roughly about the same size, and it roughly has that same kind of adjustment sadhana where you have to move forward and squish in a little bit. And it's very, very lovely. And I was asked to walk up the center aisle, but then I thought, well, you know, if it's like Puttaparthi, then you don't walk up the center aisle. So it's lovely to feel that. Now we're all here, we're drawn by the name of Sri Sathya Sai Baba. And it reminded me of, there was a sadhaka I knew, and he did something which kind of shocked me when I was young, and now I'm not so young and I know the feeling a little bit. He would say things like, we would be sitting with this person, and he would say, Sathya Sai Baba, come to me. And then he would look to the sky and he would say, Sathya Sai Baba, come to me. And we're like, you know, okay, whatever you say. Sathya Sai Baba, come to me. And it was so intense, it was so direct, and that whatever came then, whatever person, whatever animal came, he would say, Sathya Sai Baba, you've come to me. And it's that kind of feeling, that divinity everywhere that's, I can feel that sort of feeling as you get older, This is the chance, your chance to be close to the divine, your chance to make this life mean something. This, you've got to make it happen. You know, we've been given this opportunity, this time with Swami, this interaction with Swami, this feeling from Swami, the dreams from Swami, the gifts from Swami, the teachings, most important, the teachings from Swami, the demonstrations from Swami. For us to not make full use of it is in a way an offense to our own personal soul. Our Atma is offended when we do things. There's no sin in this world, it's just that our Atma is offended by some of the things that we do. Some of the things that we do lift us. They feel right to us. And so that's why I say, Satya Sai Baba, come to us. Be with us here today. This is, Satya Sai is with us always and ever and forever. But for us to ask seems to be somehow important. It seems to be that in the dance, back and forth, that we need to ask. We need to ask. Why? I don't know. It's some dance that's been going on for eons. We want to return to Satya Sai. And at the same time, we enjoy the distance because the yearning, all of that becomes very, very important. Satya Sai was saying to Diana Baskin, you know, her husband was quite keen on uniting with Swami, whereas she was more interested in the devotion. And Swami was sort of teasing, says she wants to be like the bumblebee coming to the flowers, you know. It's just pure sweetness. So I also, as someone that represents the zone, I've had the good fortune to visit most of the countries in the zone and also some of the countries outside of the zone, and to see the energy. If this energy was everywhere in the world, you know, what a world it would be. You know, we talk about unity. Unity obviously is important to people, even non-devotees, non-religious, whatever it is. Unity, there's such a lack of unity and it's such a need for unity. And Swami has given us the answers to these. The world yearns for that unity, and we have been given the teachings about unity. Unity with ourselves, unity with our minds, unity with our thoughts, unity with our words, unity with our fellow persons. We start out unified with the devotees. We expand that. Expansion is our life. And in this world, it's going to be very, very exciting. You know, for us old codgers, probably the various eco-crises are, you know, going to dodge us, whatever. But for you, you're living in the middle of this crisis, which demands unity, demands a level of cooperation that the world has never seen. At the same time that this terrible situation, we have the Swami radiating the love and about the unity and the cooperation. These two are going to come together. And certainly I mentioned with Shirdi Sai, you know, when he was alive, there were some thousands of people total who had seen him and interacted with him, and now millions of people. You know, on weekends, the Bombay clears out and they go to Shirdi. And similar with our Satya Sai. So with Satya Sai, millions met him in some form or other, and billions will know. And with Prema Sai, who knows? But expansion is that life. And sometimes we feel, oh, I'm off in this far distant place, I'm isolated, whatever. Satya Sai is everywhere. Satya Sai is coming to a town near you. Satya Sai. So we've come so far. Let's pay full reverence to the part of the dance that we've already completed with Satya Sai. We're in the middle of the dance right now. Let's pick up the pace. Let's pick up the steps. Let's be looking for what initiatives he gives us. It was lovely to be with the YA officers last night. Intense, intelligent thoughts, and most of all, service. And they were just, sometimes it's interesting to see in the Satya Sai world, sometimes people are just giving, and there's no like personality that goes with it. They're just giving. So there's just the work. It's really quite interesting to see, and I quite admire it when I see people like that. So it was a thrill for me. So I wanted to say that when we're wanting to get somewhere, it's also useful to use this question. And this question has been used by many people over the years, but it still has a power. It's sometimes called the miracle question. And the miracle question is, if you go to sleep tonight and you wake up the next morning and your problem, whatever it is that's separating you from Satya Sai, disappears, whatever barrier you have to being your divine self disappears, what would that look like? What would that feel like? What would you do differently? What would people around you see? This is something to keep in mind because it focuses us. Because we're usually focused on the narrow. Well, I can't be divine because I did such and such. Or I can't be divine because whatever it is. We narrow ourselves. The goal is much bigger than the barriers. So please keep that in mind. I wanted to also say that sometimes one of the things that gets in our way is we tend to believe our thoughts. If we believe our thoughts, sometimes they're kind of unuseful, like, I'm not good enough, or it's never going to work out for me, or, I'm cursed in some way. Hopefully, none of you have these. But in any event, don't believe your thoughts. Your thoughts, our senses and our thoughts don't really take in things accurately. We're on a ball spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. And around the sun, we're spinning at more than 10,000 miles an hour. And we're moving off through the Milky Way at hundreds of thousands of miles an hour. And we feel none of it. We see none of it. There is a band of light, waves of light. We see this much of the light spectrum. Meanwhile, big other parts of the spectrum we totally miss. The sound spectrum, we hear within here, but we miss all of these things. So we get a very, very limited kind of awareness of what's going on. I also wanted to say that I've noticed that Swami has said in his teachings that sadhana is part, and then self-analysis becomes more and more important. And I've also had a bit of that experience. I may have told this story before, but one time I was at a speech and it wasn't translated, and I was about where that man in blue is, and I'm sitting with my mala under my kurta, and I'm chanting my mantra, and I'm feeling good, and I'm just looking at Swami, and I'm not distracted by trying the translation or whatever it is. And at a certain point, he looks at me directly, and he says something, boom, 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 boom. And I don't understand it. So I asked the fellow next to me what he said. He said, you can say a mantra all your life, but it will come to nothing unless you ask who you are. So it's a very powerful kind of thing. And I realized that Swami gave speeches like that. He would be with a group like this. He would speak to this person, that person's concern, and the metaphor for that person, and the meaning for this person, and the particular health concern of that person. And it's all very, very powerful. But I think the message that I want to convey is that hopefully that Swami wants to convey, is that we need to ask. We need to examine ourselves. What is it that I'm doing that's useful? What is it that I'm doing that's not useful? What is it that I'm thinking that's useful? What is it that I'm thinking that's not useful? How is it that I can be a better person? What is it that's standing in my way of being fully divine? So I think that that's, in my mind, what's possibly meant by that self-analysis. I wanted to echo what Dr. Govind said yesterday. You know the joke, when all else fails, read the instructions. So it means that he's given us all the teachings that we need. And we need to just carefully look at them. You can't take them all in. You can't eat the whole thing. You can't read 20 vahinis in a row and you'll get spiritual indigestion. But But look for what's meant for you. Circle it. Eat it. Be a spiritual cannibal. You sort of like chew it up. You make it your own. And work on it. And he's given us more than we can do in one life. I wanted to end by saying that there was a devotee in our area who used to say, "I am free and you are free." And she used to chant it, "I am free and you are free." And if you'll indulge me, let's do that 3 times. I am free and you are free. I am free and you are free. I am free and you are free. In other words, we're in an interesting spot. We're bound and we're free at the same time. It's one of the paradoxes of spirituality. And at the same time that we're bound and we need to do our dharma and unwind all of the various karmas and things like that, at the same time, underneath, we're free, free, free. And I also wanted to say that we have the resources, and as we meet each other, we're just starting to get to know each other. It's sort of like an interesting one. I was just in Montana for the 50th reunion of the first Western devotees to come to ZYAF. The first ones to really sort of plunk down and try and stay for a long time came in January of '70. And 40 and 50 years ago, I was a young adult. But within that, there's so many stories. And within your group, there's so many stories. And within your centers and within your nations and regions, there's so many stories. And I take a moment to sort of give a little infomercial here since I have a captive audience. I'm the co-chair of the archive committee, and we're looking for people to interview devotees, particularly the older ones first, but the idea, interview all of it. We're going to find out all the story, find out everything about how ZYAF interacted with everyone around the world. So if you have an interest in that, please come see me, or Sangeeta Lakey is helping us in the US here. So I just wanted to add that. So I wanted to say that may we all be a blessing for each other. May ZYAF come to us. May we be part of the ZYAF interaction with this world, with this universe, on an interpersonal level, on a social level, national level, universal level. Jai ZYAF. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gosselin, for sharing your wonderful thoughts with us. We really appreciate all your encouragement and your guidance, your message of positivity for us YAs. One of your thoughts when you mentioned, I think it was a very timely reminder, again from a personal perspective, about introspection. How can I think? How can I be fully divine at all times? So thank you for that. And above all, Satya Sai Baba, come to us. So thank you once again for sharing your wonderful message with us.
Our next guest we have coming up to the stage, and we have the honor of welcoming, is Dr. William Harvey. Dr. William M. Harvey is currently a member of the Prashanti Council. His participation in the ZYAF International Organization dates back to 1977. He has served in many capacities, including President of USA's Region 4, President of the U.S. Central Council, Chairperson for the National Young Adult Executive Committee, and Central Council for Zone 1. He is a retired clinical and social psychologist who now resides in Blue Springs, Missouri. Most of his professional career was spent in St. Louis, Missouri, where he directed a large substance abuse prevention and treatment center, also known as NASCO, and held a faculty position of adjunct professor of sociology at Washington University. He was a consultant to the United States government's Department of Health and Human Services on matters of mental health and substance abuse. During this period, he also served as the associate publisher and executive editor of the Mississippi Enterprise newspaper in Jackson. Without further ado, brothers and sisters, let us welcome Dr. Harvey.
Good morning in Sairam. I offer my humble and loving pranams at the divine lotus feet. And I bring you greetings from Dr. Reddy and from our fellow members of the Prasanthi Council and the World Foundation. Personally, I'm delighted, just really delighted to be participating in this very important event. This festival celebrates our resolve to continue doing our very best to follow and to help others follow the teachings of the Supreme Lord of the universe, who came amongst us most recently in the glorious form of Sri Sathya Sai Baba. The scope of the Avatar's mission encompasses the spiritual uplift of all humanity. Each one of us in the room today should consider ourselves extremely fortunate that he has given us a role to play in his mission. Why do we have this rare bit of good fortune? In part, it's due to the prayers of parents and ancestors, combined with merit gained by good deeds performed by us in previous lives. His mission, which involves halting, stopping that downward spiral of human degradation and restoring the practice of righteous conduct. This mission cannot fail. It cannot fail. Only we who are being allowed to serve as instruments can fail, in the sense of not properly discharging our responsibilities. He does not need our participation in order to succeed with the unfolding of his mission. Rather, it's his compassion, it's his grace that prompts him to allow us this chance, this opportunity. Thus, if we perform our allotted duties well, the Psi mission is advanced. And in the process, we get some additional merit. On the other hand, if we fail to properly discharge our duty, the mission will still succeed, but in a different scenario with different players. And we will have lost a once in many lifetimes opportunity. One of the reasons I feel so delighted and so happy, above my normal level of being happy all the time, is that the ZYAF Young Adult Program has developed, as some of the previous speakers have indicated, has developed so splendidly. I can't help but think back to days when Brother Hal, and Sister Phyllis, and some others were all sitting around the table in Hal's apartment, and we were talking about this great need and how we wanted things to go and hoped things would go, et cetera, et cetera. And to see over the years this beautiful expansion and development has just been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful blessing. And this is not just my view that you've done so well. It's also the view of the senior leadership of the ZYAF International Organization. Frequently we hear these remarks at our meetings on how proud, how relieved, how comforted everyone is with what's happening with the young adult initiatives. You avoided the pitfall of what could have been a very unfortunate turn of going so far in the direction of definitiveness or distinctiveness that one could become a parallel organization. Rather, an optimal balance has been kept. And the result is that the SSIO is infinitely, because of you, infinitely more vital, more dynamic, and is providing a valuable, much needed service to society. You're becoming maximally involved in center activities, along with the fun-filled, uplifting activities of young adult activities per se, becoming integrally part of the center functions has made so much difference. We have to keep in mind that the Psi Center is the face of the avatar to the society at large. And in this age, with the many challenges and threats, the Psi Center is the portal through which humankind all around the world may proceed safely and swiftly to the realization of its innate divine nature. And that is why the location of Psi Centers is so important. Lord Psi recommends centers be located, to the extent possible, in public places, accessible to as many as possible, that the decor inside not be such as to make visitors feel out of place and thus uncomfortable. In Zone 1, our centers have come a long way, and there is still a ways to go. Hence, you shall have to continue to utilize your loving leadership skills to further achieve this important goal. We must continue to remind ourselves that all people are our brothers and sisters, our fathers and mothers, our children. It does not matter what they look like, what their religion or political persuasion happens to be. Doesn't matter whether they appear to be friendly or hostile. They are our sisters and brothers. We are all God's children, and He is the inner resident of every heart. And from that illumination comes our duty to share our good fortune by taking the message of the Avatar to all of society. Please, please remember our perspectives are learned. The way we look at the world is something that we learn. And our perspectives are things that can change. Module 5 of the YA leadership curriculum describes selfless service as a journey from I to we to he. We begin with a heavy emphasis on I and me. But when our perspective remains there, we are inclined more toward thoughts and notions of self-pity, feeling sorry for ourselves, bemoaning our fate when things don't seem to be going right. Moving from I to we brings us to having more of a capacity for empathy, for compassion, for more brotherly and sisterly love. And then we can at least think about, even momentarily, we can think about the other person's perspective or possible reasons that for their taking a position or behaving in a manner that seems annoying or scary or disgusting to us. Interestingly, science is showing strong support for this view of moving from I to we. A now classic study shows that the frequent use of first-person pronouns leads to a greater risk of heart attack. It's been empirically, clinically, statistically demonstrated. And that if the person has a heart attack and they are more frequently into using I and me, there is a greater risk that the heart attack will be fatal. Actually, the researcher who labeled this phenomenon self-involvement concluded that to say I or me or mine more frequently turns out to be a better predictor of death from heart attack, a better predictor than smoking, high cholesterol levels, or high blood pressure. In another more recent, just a couple of years ago, study, another researcher also found that people who more often use first-person singular words, I or me, are more likely to become depressed, clinically depressed, than people who use first-person plurals, we or us. Of course, the final stage of this progression, I, we, he, is from we to he, shifting our thinking from thinking that we are doing to thinking he is doing, God is doing. Now, intellectually, every one of us glibly says that all the time when the subject comes up. I'm not the doer, blah, 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 blah. But that knowledge seldom translates to our actual behavior. In fact, one of the best definitions of willpower is when knowledge has an influence on our behavior. That's when we are able to exert willpower. Now, the key word to getting to that point where our knowledge does consistently and regularly influence our behavior is practice. The Swami says there's nothing in this whole world, there's nothing in life that will not succumb to practice. That's a great, wonderful insight for us to have, that we can achieve anything if we consciously align ourselves with the divine that exists in us and all around us. But we have to consciously think in those terms, going from just behaving and doing things like we've previously always done, to having this kind of awareness that we are always, and I have always been, able to simply call on Him and then have instant, almost instant, complete, total, satisfying results. It's not hard if we continue to practice. We just have to practice. I'm going to close by doing something I used to do all the time, but we have some new people, and I'll do it, and I like to do it because years ago I began to say, what can we do to help keep this wayward going mind from going wayward? How can we be always conscious of Swami's teachings and so forth? And we came up with that notion that many of you also like, and that we talk about the Swami's, we can say the ABCs of Swami's teachings. I find that people, just even non-devotees who've heard us talk, will come back 5, 10, 15 years and say, oh yeah, I remember always ABC and all that sort of thing. So if you haven't heard it, I'll just say it real quickly. One way of keeping it in mind and sort of wrapping it up is to say, think of Swami's teachings in terms of our ABCs. First, ABC is always be content. Practice always being content. Contentment is best. I'm not going to go into details. The second one is always be cheerful. Always be cheerful. That's the second basic ABC that subsumes everything. And the final ABC, always be careful. There's a tendency for us sometimes to become over self-satisfied. We go too far toward self-confidence. Spiritual arrogance is the worst kind of arrogance. Always be careful. That fits into what Dr. Gosselin was just saying about self-analysis. Another aspect of that ABC was avoid bad company. Avoid bad company. What is bad company? Are you being judgmental? No. Bad company is anything or anyone who takes us, who distract us from our main goal in life. Our main goal in life is mergence with the divine. So we try to avoid bad company. We don't just make a scene and so forth, but we politely move away from idle gossip type conversations, and people are doing things that have little to do with our spiritual progress. We just don't stay there. We get away from that. And of course we avoid the more obvious kinds of bad company. Finally, someone added, one young adult added, why don't you add DEFG to your ABC? And so what is DEFG? Don't ever forget God. Sairam.
I'm in this by myself. Wait, I don't think those are the right song words. We're all in this together. That's what it is. We're all in this together. It's not me or I, it's we and us, as Dr. Harvey so eloquently put in his speech. Can we get another round of applause, please?
Next, we have a very special video message all the way from the United Kingdom by Brother ZYAF Tankaria, who is the International Young Adult Coordinator. So Brother ZYAF was been born into a Sai family and is a fourth generation to be under the divine guidance of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. He has actively served the SSIO, in particular with the Sai young adults. He has served as the Deputy Zone Adult Coordinator for Zone 7 and 9A and Deputy International Young Adult Coordinator. He was also the founding member and former chairman of the Satyasai International Leadership Program for Young Adults, and under his leadership, over 1,000 young adults have graduated and taken on leading roles in the SSIO. He also led the International Young Adult Grama Seva in 2016, where over 200 young adults from 70 countries served 12,000 villagers. Devesh currently serves as the International Young Adults Coordinator and oversees the young adult activities in over 120 countries across 13 zones, and also leads 9 international young adult subcommittees. So, right for the message from across the pond, Sairam.
I offer my most loving pranams to the making this sure that this festival is the first zero waste festival in your zone. This is truly remarkable and a clear sign of young adults making a positive difference in society. This drive in unity is our biggest strength, coupled with the dedication of wanting to serve. This unique characteristics defines who we are and indeed makes us so special. And special we all are, as these are the divine words given to us by Bhagwan. Some of you would have heard about the letter that Swami wrote himself to an ardent devotee by the name of Charles Penn, where Swami said, "Your mission has begun. Those are my words to you, my devotees. Each of you has a unique and valuable part to play in this lifetime. Only those whom I have called can serve me." Brothers and sisters, take a moment to reflect on this profound statement. Only those whom I have called can serve me. How blessed are we? Out of a population of 7.4 billion people, we are the chosen ones. Brothers and sisters, throughout the festival, you will hear inspiring talks, participate in interactive workshops and various activities. You'll also get to hear about the Global Young Adults Program and the important part you play in this movement. With Bhagwan's grace, the Global Young Adults Program is expanding at a rate that was never imaginable, with new and innovative initiatives and ideas, and you all play a key part. The Young Adults Program encourages young men and women to participate in such activities and programs. And most importantly, we have a duty to support our Satyasai centers and groups, which in turn will foster our nation, and indeed our zone and globally. I'm sure you'll have plenty of opportunities during the festival to know about more of the activities taking part. But if you want to find out more about the international programs, you can also follow us on our social media sites at ZYAF Young Adults on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, where you get the up-to-date information on the various programs and activities taking place. Brothers and sisters, the theme of your festival is appropriately defined as Dare to be Divine. Embrace this golden opportunity to be the light that shines so brightly around the world, as this is what is expected of us. Celebrate the joy of being a Sai young adult and knowing Swami at such a young age, and take up the opportunities to serve him. Swami must once lovingly asked me, "What do I want?" And having heard other people answer this very question, I knew the answer. So I looked in Swami's eyes and said, "Swami, I want you." Swami then mirrored the same big smile on my face and proceeded to walk. However, the true test of this conversation came after I took on the best job in the world as the Young Adults Coordinator, where there have been countless experiences of Swami showing his omnipresence every day in my personal, professional and spiritual life. You take one step towards me and I'll take 1,000 towards you. Those were his words. Brothers and sisters, take the step and be witness to the biggest transformational change in your life. If there's one thing that you take away from this festival, let it be the message that Bhagwan is always with you, always guiding you and protecting you, and take that leap of faith to do his work with full conviction and dedication, and let the divine drama unfold. And finally, I'd like to end with a special announcement. In July 2021, in Prashanti Nilayam, we will have the World Young Adults Festival, where young adults from around the world will unite at our spiritual home and come together to celebrate the life and the teachings of our beloved Swami. In November next year in Prashantinili, we'll also have the World Conference. And in preparation for both events, we will have many festivals and many pre-World Conferences like the one you're participating in today. As we prepare for these historic events, I look forward to working with each and every one of you and seeing you all in 2021. So stay tuned for further information, and if you want to get involved, speak to your young adults reps. Dear Sai Young Adults, I wish you all the very best for your festival. Remember, you are the chosen ones. 7.4 billion people in the world, out of which millions know Swami. However, only a few are selected to do his work. Look around the room. Look at your neighbor. Look behind you. You are the chosen ones. Enjoy the experience, embrace the opportunity, and be bold in your pursuit to know that you are truly divine. I wish you all the very best for your conference, and I look forward to seeing you all soon. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, Brother Divyesh, for your message. You are very much with us here in spirit. And once again, thank you for your amazing leadership of the international young adults community that is really helping each one of us realize our inner potential. And we're also really excited about the 2021 World Young Adults Festival.
The overhead compartments, and please remember to put on your oxygen mask first before putting it on your...
Are you feeling okay? You sure? You gotta excuse Brother Sai Pranay here. He just landed last night from Ohio, and I think he mixed up his MC notes with the flight safety manifest. So, moving on to the real housekeeping announcements. So, workshops will be held in cabin 16, 19, 18, 22, the foyers of Saks, Lebo, and Ruth Lodges. So the location of the bathrooms, there are several bathrooms around the campsite. So the closest one is right outside the main prayer hall, and if you just take a left, it's the first building right there. Just a friendly reminder, so please remember to go to your workshops that you've signed up for. Your fellow YAs have put in a lot of effort and hard work. Plus, we've also accounted for the numbers for each workshop as well. So if you guys remember, there's going to be like, I think, when you checked in, you took a picture, right, of your information. So in that, the workshops that you had signed up for, you can take a look at that picture one more time to know the exact location of the particular workshop that you're interested in. So once again, you know, these YAs have put in a lot of effort, so we really hope to see you there.
Yeah, and while you're thanking the YAs, don't forget to thank your pilot and co-pilot on your way out.
There he goes again with the airplane lingo. I think he's probably the only one who's getting jet lag flying from Ohio to Chicago.
Cleveland's far. I mean, it's a pretty far place.
I have a few more here.
Okay, that's important.
So the cars should not be parked on the grass. So this is a very strict directive from our campsite staff. So if you have your cars parked anywhere in the grass, we would really appreciate it if you could move it to the parking lot. Then Saturday lunch will be served by the Canadian regions. So the dining team has requested that about 12 to 16 volunteers please come to the dining hall at around 12 p.m. To volunteer.
And finally, we're going to have a 5-minute bathroom break right before we go to our workshops. So if everyone wants to stand up, stretch their legs, and get rid of all those yawns that we've been collecting. I see those people. They're slowly hiding them. No, that is not allowed. So let's stand up. Let's go to the bathroom for 5 minutes and go to the workshop. Please come back to the devotional hall at 11:25 for the welcome back remarks. Thank you, and Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
God, I just...